Isabella was born with a face so beautiful that it was deadly. From the moment she entered the world, something strange happened. Everyone in the hospital who saw her died instantly. The doctors, nurses, even visitors who came too close, all fell lifeless to the ground. The only people who survived were her parents, who loved her deeply but feared the curse she carried. As Isabella grew, her parents realized they had to protect her from the world, and the world from her. Her mother decided to homeschool her, keeping her away from everyone. Isabella was smart, incredibly smart. She learned everything quickly, reading books and solving math problems like a genius. But even though she was so intelligent, she was lonely. She didn't have friends and never played outside like other children. She could never let anyone see her face. When Isabella turned 18, her parents decided it was time for her to attend university. They couldn't keep her hidden forever. But to protect others, she wrapped her face tightly with cloth, covering her beauty. Only her eyes peeked out from behind the layers of fabric. She was always careful not to let anyone see her true face. At the university, Isabella became known for her brilliance. She aced every exam, finished every assignment before anyone else, and her professors praised her. But she didn't care about the praise, she just wanted to get through the day without hurting anyone. Despite her intelligence, some students didn't understand why she covered her face every day. Rumors spread quickly, some said she was hiding scars, others thought she was just weird. One of the loudest voices came from Sophia, the school bully. Sophia was always showing off, thinking she was better than everyone else. She liked to pick on people, and Isabella became her favorite target. One day, Sophia marched up to Isabella in front of a group of students. "Hey Isabella, why do you always cover your face? Are you hiding something ugly under there?" Sophia sneered, folding her arms. The other students giggled, waiting to see what Isabella would do. Isabella stood calmly, her eyes fixed on Sophia. She didn't say anything for a moment, then finally replied, "I bet you don't want to see my real face." Sophia laughed. "Oh come on, if you're not ugly, prove it. Show everyone here what you look like." Isabella shook her head, her voice steady, "Trust me, you don't want to see." But Sophia wouldn't stop. Every day she would taunt Isabella. "If you're not scared, take that cloth off your face," she would say, and the students would laugh behind her. Isabella ignored them. She knew the danger, she didn't want anyone to die because of her. But no matter how hard she tried to stay focused on her studies, Sophia and her friends wouldn't leave her alone. One afternoon, while Isabella was walking to class, Sophia blocked her path. "Today's the day," Sophia said, her eyes full of mischief. "You're going to show everyone if you're not ugly. Prove it." The crowd around them grew, curious about what would happen next. Isabella looked at Sophia for a long moment, then said softly, "If I show you, it won't end well for you." Sophia smirked, rolling her eyes. "Sure, whatever you say. You're just too scared to show your face." Isabella took a deep breath. She didn't want to hurt anyone, but she was tired of the constant teasing. She stepped closer to Sophia and said, "You think I'm hiding because I'm ugly? You're wrong. I'm hiding to protect you." The crowd fell silent. Sophia's smile faltered, but she didn't back down. "I don't need your protection. Take off the cloth, or admit that you're a coward." Isabella's heart raced. She wanted to tell Sophia the truth, to explain that her face wasn't just beautiful, it was deadly. But she knew Sophia wouldn't believe her. So she turned away, refusing to give in to the bully's demands. As the days passed, Sophia kept mocking her. "You're just scared of being judged," she would shout, but Isabella remained silent, focused on her studies. She didn't want to give Sophia the satisfaction of a reaction. Still, the other students started whispering more. Why won't she show her face? Do you think there's something wrong with her? Maybe she's cursed. Nathan was one of the most handsome boys in the university. Almost every girl liked him. He was confident, charming, and very popular. But Nathan wasn't interested in settling down with anyone. He enjoyed all the attention he got. Sophia, who always had a mean plan up her sleeve, decided to use Nathan to carry out her latest scheme. One day during lunch, she walked up to him, flipping her hair and smiling sweetly. "Nathan," she said, sitting next to him. "I need you to do something for me." Nathan raised an eyebrow. "What now, Sophia? Another one of your tricks?" Sophia grinned. "Oh, this one's really good. It's about that strange girl Isabella, you know, the one who always covers her face." Nathan replied, "Yeah, I've seen her." "What about her?" Sophia leaned closer, her voice full of excitement. "I want you to get close to her, pretend to be her friend, make her trust you. Then, when she falls asleep, give her something to make her sleep deeper, take off her face cover, and snap a picture of her real face. Send a photo to me, and I will take care of the rest." Nathan frowned. "Why do you care about her? She's not bothering anyone." Sophia rolled her eyes. "She thinks she's better than everyone else, hiding her face like she's some big secret. I bet she's really ugly under that cover. I want to show everyone what she's hiding." Nathan hesitated. He wasn't a fan of Sophia's mean games, and this plan felt wrong. But Sophia wasn't someone you could easily say no to. She had a way of pressuring people to do what she wanted. Nathan knew what Sophia wanted him to do, and though he wasn't sure about it, he agreed. He figured it would be easy to befriend Isabella. After all, she was quiet and didn't have many friends. He started by sitting near her during lectures, pretending to be interested in what the professor was saying. At first, Isabella didn't pay much attention to him. She was used to people either ignoring her or mocking her from a distance. But Nathan was different. He didn't tease her or laugh like the others, he always smiled at her, which made her suspicious. One day, Nathan sat beside her in the library. "Hey," he said, his voice friendly. "You're Isabella, right?" Isabella looked up, her eyes peeking out from behind the cloth covering her face. "Yes," she said slowly. "Hope no problem." Nathan leaned back in his chair, pretending to be casual. "I've seen you around. You seem interesting. I thought we could be friends." Isabella frowned. Nobody ever wanted to be her friend. Most people avoided her, and those who didn't usually had something mean to say. "Why would you want to be friends with someone like me?" she asked. Nathan laughed lightly. "Why not? You're smart, and you don't follow the crowd." "That's cool." Isabella didn't respond. She didn't trust him, but he didn't seem like the others. He wasn't laughing at her or trying to make her feel bad. Still, she didn't let her guard down. Over the next few days, Nathan kept trying. He would sit next to her during class, walk with her after lectures, and bring her small snacks like a candy bar or a bottle of juice. Slowly, Isabella began to warm up to him. She started talking to him about her favorite books and how much she loved science. For the first time, she felt like someone was listening to her. One evening, Nathan told her they should study together in her room. "You are so smart, Isabella," he said with a grin. "I could use your help with some of these assignments." Isabella hesitated but agreed. She thought maybe, just maybe, she had finally found a friend. She even made tea for him when he arrived. Nathan smiled as he took the cup, but in his pocket was a small packet of powder Sophia had given him. It was a sleeping drug. As Isabella turned her back to grab a book, Nathan quickly poured the powder into her cup. "Here," he said, handing her the tea. "You deserve a break." Isabella smiled behind her cloth, taking a sip. They talked for a while, but soon her eyelids began to feel heavy. "I think I'm getting sleepy," she said, yawning. Nathan nodded, pretending to be concerned. "You've been working so hard. Get some rest. I'll pack up and leave." Isabella lay down on her bed, still holding on to the hope that she had found a true friend. Within minutes, she was fast asleep. Nathan waited until he was sure she wouldn't wake up. His hand shook slightly as he walked to her bed. He felt guilty. Isabella had been nothing but kind to him. But Sophia's voice echoed in his mind to take off her face cover and get a photo. Slowly, he reached out and began untying the cloth. With each knot he loosened, his heart raced. Finally, the cloth fell away, and he froze. Isabella's face was revealed, and it was unlike anything he had ever seen. She wasn't ugly, far from it. Her beauty was unexplainable, almost magical. It wasn't just her looks, there was something about her face that drew him in, something too powerful for words. But before he could even think, a wave of darkness hit him. His chest tightened, his vision blurred, and his legs gave out. He gasped for air, but it was no use. The overwhelming force of her beauty was too much for him to handle. In seconds, Nathan collapsed to the floor, lifeless. A few minutes later, Isabella woke up feeling groggy. She sat up and noticed her face covering lying on the floor. Her heart sank. She looked around and saw Nathan lying on the ground, his eyes wide open and unblinking. "Nathan," she whispered, crawling toward him. She shook his shoulder, but he didn't move. She checked for a pulse but found nothing. He was dead. Isabella began to cry, wrapping her face again quickly. "I told you," she sobbed. "I warned you." Soon, the police arrived. They found Isabella huddled in a corner, rocking back and forth, her face covered once again. "What happened here?" one of them asked, his voice stern. Isabella's voice trembled as she replied, "He saw my face. That's all it takes. I didn't mean to hurt him. I warned everyone, but no one believes me." The police didn't know what to think. Some of them had heard stories about her condition but had dismissed them as rumors. After interviewing her parents and piecing together the events, they decided she wasn't a criminal. "This isn't murder," one of them said. "This is something else." Isabella returned home with her parents, feeling destroyed. She didn't want to go back to school, she didn't want to face anyone. "Mom," she cried, clutching her mother's hand. "I can't do this anymore. I feel like everything is falling apart. People stare at me, and they don't understand. What if they see my face and something bad happens again?" Her mother took her hand gently. "I understand your fear, sweetheart, but you can't let that stop you. You need to finish school for yourself. Don't let fear control your life. People may say things, they may stare, but that doesn't define who you are. You're strong, and you have so much to offer the world." Isabella wiped away a tear. She was still scared, but she had to try. "I will try, Mom. I don't want to hide anymore." Her mother hugged her tightly. "That's my girl. You can do anything you set your mind to. I'm here for you every step of the way." The next day, Isabella went to school feeling a little nervous but determined to face her fears. She had made up her mind to ignore the bullies and focus on her studies. As she walked through the hallways, she tried to keep her head down and walk quickly to her first class. But when she entered the library, Sophia was there, waiting. News about Nathan's death had spread throughout the school, and everyone was talking about it. Some people believed Isabella had something to do with it. "Well, look who's back," Sophia said, her voice dripping with venom. "I heard what happened to Nathan. You think you're special just because your parents have money, don't you? You're lucky they're rich, otherwise you'd be in jail right now for killing someone. You're a freak." Isabella felt her anger building, but instead of running away, she stopped and turned to face Sophia. "At least I'm not like you," Isabella said, her voice steady. "You've slept with almost every handsome boy in this school just to get attention. What's that make you, huh? You're the one who's a joke." Sophia's face turned red. It was the first time Isabella had ever talked back to her. The other students in the library looked on in shock. "You think you're so smart," Sophia said, her voice shaking with anger. "But nobody likes you. Everyone thinks you're weird and ugly." Isabella stood her ground. "I'd rather be weird than be known as the school's biggest slut." The students gasped. They had never heard Isabella speak like this before. Sophia was quiet for a moment, then scoffed. "You're just jealous because I'm popular, and you're a nobody." Isabella shook her head. "I'm not jealous of you, Sophia. I'm focused on my future, something you should try doing for once." Sophia didn't have anything else to say, so she turned and walked back to her group of friends. Isabella stood there for a moment, her heart racing. She had stood up for herself. She had spoken her truth, and it felt good. A week later, a very handsome boy named Marcus arrived at the university. He was tall, with piercing blue eyes and a smile that made most girls weak at the knees. Sophia immediately set her sights on him, telling all her friends that she would make him hers. "Did you see the new guy?" Sophia asked her friends during lunch. "He's going to be mine by the end of the week." Some of her friends nodded, agreeing with her, but a few others rolled their eyes. They were tired of Sophia's constant need for attention and her habit of chasing after any boy she thought was handsome. The next day, Sophia, with a determined look on her face, walked up to Marcus in the hallway. Her friends followed behind her, whispering excitedly. "Hey, Marcus," Sophia said, her voice sweet. "I've noticed you're new here. How about we become friends? I can show you around and help you get settled." Marcus didn't even look at her as he replied, "No, thanks. I'm good." Sophia's smile faltered, but she didn't give up. "Are you sure? I know all the best spots on campus. We could have some fun together." Marcus turned to face her, his expression serious. "Look, I'm not interested. I've heard about you and your games. I'm here to study, not to be part of your drama." Sophia's face flushed with embarrassment as he walked away. Her friends tried not to laugh, but some couldn't help themselves. Sophia was used to getting any guy she wanted, but sometimes it didn't work out the way she planned. "I'm not giving up," Sophia continued, her voice more confident now. "I know what I'm doing, and if he doesn't come to me, I will make him. I will use my money to get him. From the way he looks, I don't think he comes from a rich family," she said. "I bet if I offer him the things he wants, he'll change his mind about me." Her friends gave her doubtful looks but didn't say anything. They knew Sophia's ways, and deep down, they wondered if she would ever change. Meanwhile, Isabella caught Marcus's attention in a way Sophia never could. He noticed her sitting alone in the cafeteria, reading a book. There was something intriguing about her, the way she kept to herself, the mysterious covering on her face. He decided to approach her. "May I sit here?" he asked, gesturing to the empty chair across from her. Isabella looked up, surprised that someone was talking to her. Yes," she said hesitantly. They began talking, and Marcus found himself drawn to her intelligence and quiet strength. He didn't care about the cloth covering her face, he was more interested in her mind and her heart. As the days passed, Isabella and Marcus became friends. He didn't pressure her to reveal her face or ask prying questions. He simply enjoyed her company, and she enjoyed his. Not everyone was happy about their growing friendship. Marcus's friends noticed that he was spending more time with Isabella and less time with them. They didn't understand why he was so interested in her, especially since she was a bit of an outsider at school. They warned him to stay away from her, saying she wasn't the right type of person to be friends with, but Marcus didn't listen to them. He liked Isabella, and that was all that mattered to him. Sophia soon found out that Marcus and Isabella were spending time together, and she was furious. She confronted Isabella one day after class. "Stay away from Marcus," Sophia hissed, cornering Isabella against a wall. "He doesn't even know you exist. Keep dreaming, loser." She crossed her arms and looked at Sophia with anger in her eyes. "For your information, Marcus and I are just friends. We are not dating, and we never will be." Sophia's face turned bright red with anger. "Don't act like you're better than me," she hissed. "You don't belong in this school. You're nothing but a freak who hides behind that cloth." Isabella wasn't afraid. She stood tall and looked Sophia straight in the eye. "I'm not here to play games or be in a relationship. I'm here to learn and build my future. Something you should try doing." "Watch your back," Sophia threatened. "I will make your life miserable. You'll regret ever crossing paths with me." Isabella didn't flinch. "Go ahead, Sophia," she said with a shrug. "I'm not afraid of you. You can't scare me." Sophia stared at her for a moment, realizing that Isabella wasn't backing down. Her usual tactics of bullying and intimidation weren't working. Frustrated, she turned and stormed off, leaving Isabella standing tall. When Isabella got home that day, she felt a mix of emotions. She was proud of herself for standing up to Sophia, but a part of her still felt uncertain about the future. She went to her mother, seeking advice. "Mom," Isabella said, sitting on the edge of her bed. "I'm tired of this curse. I'm tired of it. It's been so long, and I just want to feel normal, like everyone else." Her mother's smile faded a little as she listened. "I understand how you feel, Isabella, but we've talked about this before, haven't we?" Isabella nodded. "Yes, I know, but I feel like I can't keep running away from it. I want to live a normal life. I don't want to hide anymore." Her mother gently reached out and took her hand. "You remember what the prophet told us years ago, don't you?" Isabella felt a knot form in her stomach. Yes, she remembered. The prophet had told them that only true love would break the curse. Someone who loved her so deeply that the power of her beauty wouldn't harm them. But how could she find true love when she couldn't even show her face? "But Mom," Isabella continued, tears welling up in her eyes. "What if I never find that person? What if I'm meant to be alone forever?" She couldn't hold the tears back. Her mother pulled her into a hug. "Don't be sad, my dear. It's not something you can rush. The right person will come into your life when the time is right, and until then, you focus on what matters most, your studies, your future. You don't have to worry about love right now." Isabella felt comforted by her mother's words, but a part of her was still troubled. She had been focusing so much on her schoolwork, pushing love and relationships aside, but deep down, she wanted to live a life where she didn't have to hide. "I'm glad you have a friend like Marcus," her mother continued. "It's important to have people who care about you. But remember, your friendship with him doesn't have to be anything more. You need to focus on yourself, Isabella. Don't let anyone pressure you into something you're not ready for." Isabella nodded, but she still felt confused. "But Sophia, she's always coming after me, always trying to make me feel small." She keeps saying things about Marcus like he's her man. I don't even want to deal with her, but she keeps making trouble." Her mother sighed. "Some people are just like that, darling. They're insecure and try to make themselves feel better by putting others down. Don't waste your energy on her. You don't need anyone's approval to be happy, and when the time comes, when the right person enters your life, they will love you for who you truly are." In school, the tension between Sophia and Isabella had reached its peak. Sophia was determined to have the last word, especially after Marcus's rejection and the way Isabella seemed to gain respect from more students. Sophia, however, couldn't let that slide. She spotted Isabella near the cafeteria, calmly reading a book and minding her business. With her usual entourage of friends, Sophia approached, ready for another confrontation. Well, Sophia started, hands on her hips. If it isn't the face-hiding freak. Still playing the mysterious card to get attention. The students gathered around them, sensing another round of drama. Isabella smirked lightly and folded her arms. Thank God graduation is finally here. After all these years, Sophia, you're finally leaving this school. I was starting to think you were planning to live here forever. The students around burst into laughter. Sophia's face turned red, but Isabella wasn't done yet. Let me guess, Isabella continued, her voice calm but cutting. You must have slept with most of the lecturers to get to this point. It's the only explanation for why someone like you would be graduating. Sophia's jaw dropped, but Isabella wasn't finished. Oh, and let's not forget, Isabella added, your so-called big girl lifestyle. Everyone knows you've been sleeping with sugar daddies to fund it. You're nothing but a fake, a poor girl pretending to be rich, bullying others to hide your insecurities. Pathetic. The students couldn't hold back anymore. The laughter was uncontrollable now. Some were whispering to each other about Sophia's sugar daddy scandals, and others were recording the scene on their phones. Sophia's eyes filled with tears of anger and humiliation. You'll regret this, she spat out before turning to her friends. Come on, let's go. Her friends hesitated, some of them sneaking away to avoid being associated with her. As Sophia disappeared, the students around Isabella clapped and cheered. Finally, someone put her in her place, one of them said. That was legendary, Isabella, another added. Isabella simply picked up her book, gave them a small nod, and walked away with her head held high. Sophia had been desperate to make Marcus notice her. She tried everything, wearing her tightest dresses, walking past him with exaggerated confidence, and even sending him expensive gifts. But Marcus remained uninterested. He was drawn to Isabella's genuine nature and intelligence. One day, as Sophia was making another attempt to get Marcus's attention in the hallway, he finally had enough. Sophia, Marcus said firmly, stopping her mid-sentence. I'm not interested in you. I never will be. You're fake, shallow, and you think you're better than everyone. It's pathetic. The words hit Sophia like a slap. She stood there frozen, trying to process the insult. Students nearby who had overheard everything began whispering to themselves. Sophia, for once, had no comeback. She turned and stormed off, her face red with humiliation. Later that evening, Marcus decided to tell Isabella how he truly felt. He found her sitting under a tree, her favorite spot on campus. Isabella, he said softly, sitting next to her. She turned to him, confused. What is it, Marcus? Marcus took a deep breath. I need to tell you something important. I've fallen in love with you. Isabella's eyes widened. Marcus, no, you don't understand. We can't be together. My face. This cover is something you can't handle. I don't care, Marcus said firmly. You're beautiful to me, no matter what. He invited her to his place that weekend to spend time together. Isabella hesitated but eventually agreed. When she got to Marcus's apartment, they talked for hours. They laughed, shared stories, and grew even closer. As the evening went on, Marcus leaned in and kissed her gently. For the first time, Isabella felt truly cared for. She let herself relax, but in the moment, Marcus accidentally brushed her face cover aside, revealing her face. Isabella gasped and tried to cover herself, but it was too late. Marcus had seen her. She closed her eyes, waiting for the inevitable, for him to collapse and die like everyone else who had seen her face. But nothing happened. Marcus was still there, still breathing, still looking at her with love in his eyes. "Isabella," he whispered, touching her cheek gently. "You're even more beautiful than I imagined." "How?" Isabella asked, tears streaming down her face. "How are you still alive?" Marcus smiled. "I told you I love you, maybe that's why the curse doesn't affect me." Isabella couldn't believe it. She hugged Marcus tightly, still crying, but this time her tears were tears of joy. When she got home that night, she told her mother everything. "Mom," she said, her voice trembling. "Marcus saw my face, and nothing happened to him. He's alive. He loves me, and I think the curse is broken." Her mother's eyes filled with tears of happiness. She hugged Isabella tightly. "My darling, I have waited for this day for so long. The prophet was right, true love has broken the curse." On graduation day, Isabella decided to go without her face covering for the first time. The curse was broken, she no longer feared that her beauty would harm anyone. As she walked across the stage to receive her diploma, the entire auditorium fell silent. Her beauty was breathtaking, but no one died. When Sophia saw Isabella, her mouth dropped open. "This is what you've been hiding," Sophia said, her voice dripping with disbelief. Isabella smiled calmly. "Yes, this is me." Surprised? Maybe next time you'll think twice before judging someone you don't know. The students clapped and cheered for Isabella. For the first time, she felt free. Free from the curse, free from judgment, and free to live her life as her true self.